I'll save you from is actually just a glancing blow, because if you get a fall in a race with 11 runners and you're in front, 10 horses can gallop over you and they all have 4 legs each. You could get kicked 40 times, so, and you could get kicked like a rag doll. So a back protector will probably save you from a glancing blow more than anything else. The next thing I'm going to show you is my racing boots, okay? So I have 2 different racing boots, a light pair and a heavier pair. My heavier pair has a sole on it here, okay? And I'll show you the weight of them in a minute. My second one has a sole on it, but it's actually a taper sole. So when a jockey is doing a lightweight, if I'm doing anything under 10 stone 7, I'll have to sweat to do the weight, and I can lose up to 8 pounds in a 24-hour period if I have to, from sweating in the bath.
How do you do that? How do you do that?
Ladies always ask how they're going to do that. But you're only, there's not a pick on me, but I can still do it. So you're only sweating fluid out. So you do that by, I go for a run with a sweatsuit on. I'll sit in the bath for maybe 2 hours. But when you're sitting in the bath, you try and occupy your mind. So I'll watch a movie or something like that, because it's like pain. Pain is only a thought. I'm off injured at the minute, but I'm not sore during the day because I'm up working every day. The only time I'm in pain is actually during the night when I'm sitting around doing nothing, you know, and especially being married. And so pain is only a thought. It's the same, hunger is only a thought as well. So you try and occupy your mind when you're in the bath. When I'm actually doing a lightweight, what I like to do after having a good sweat, so I might lose 5 or 6 pounds, is actually I have a slice of toast and half a tin of baked beans, because that will provide a bit of energy, and you'll also, I know my body that well, I'll pass it through the next thing in the morning, because you know beans do that to you. And then next morning I'll get up, ride out, go to the yard and get to the races, run a lap or 2 of the racetrack with a sweatsuit on, and then lose the last few pounds in the sauna. So all my gear, once I'm doing a lightweight and it's under 10 stone 7, will weigh literally 4 pounds. That's from my boots, my tights, because all jockeys wear tights to hold colours in and keep you warm, and that's because of the light material you use. My light breeches, back pad, owner's colours, saddle, the girths that go onto the saddle, and the pad underneath will literally weigh 4 pounds. On the flat they can do that in 3 pounds, okay? So it's even lighter material they use for that. So you can imagine you have very little protection as a jockey. Anyone got an empty hand, young lady? Oh, you were nearly not awake. Feel the difference of weight, 2 of them. And it's the same for it's the same with a jockey's pair of breeches. If I'm doing any heavier weights, so over jumps the weights range from 10 stone up to 12 stone, okay? So if I'm doing a heavier weight, I'll wear my heavier and slightly warmer breeches. If I'm doing a lightweight, I'll wear the light ones, and it's literally the difference of 0.8 of a pound in the 2 of them, if you pass them around, my dear. Also, if I'm doing a lightweight, again, I'll use this saddle here, which is my lightweight saddle. It weighs 1.5 pounds. If I'm riding at about 11 stone, I have a middle saddle that weighs about 5 pounds. If I'm riding at 12 or 11 stone, 7 to 12 stone, I'll use a bigger saddle, because what you want is to do a bigger saddle rather than dead lead underneath it. So this here is a saddle cloth, right? This sits underneath the saddle like that, okay? So if you're trying to make up the weight, it'll sit under the saddle like that. And the idea of this is you've got 4 pockets, 2 on both sides, and you'll actually put pounds of lead into each pocket to make up the weight that you're meant to ride. So you've seen jockey Nicola Curry earlier on. She was weighing in at 8 stone 8. She's probably about 8 stone 2 strict. So with her riding gear, she'd be about 8 stone 5. Then she'd have had her saddle and maybe a small one of these underneath to make it up 8 stone 8. The most important...
Do you race from something like that?
You race with that, so you got your stirrups that come out here, but if you could imagine, right, as a jockey, you keep the weight up off the horse's back, you don't actually sit down, so even when you ride a finish, so your canter position will literally be like this, keeping the weight off the horse's back. As you ask the horse to extend, you'll crouch down lower, getting in behind them. So when you're in full position, pushing the horses out, like they are in the last furlong here at Kempton tonight, you literally be squatting down like that over the saddle. So you'll still have your bum up off the saddle, and then you'll be pushing out. So I do a lot of jockey coaching. If I had a mechanical horse and had you in that position pushing it, you guys wouldn't last 20 seconds, pushing like that. So at some of the race course we have a mechanical horse, and I take you there and we do a 2-minute challenge with just an average race goer like you guys here. And I swear to God, I always take a video of them then walking 10 yards, and your legs literally, I've had 2 people fall over doing it. They've done the 2 minutes, but that's because I'm stood over them with a stick. Alright? The most important bit of equipment, you'll also have goggles. So jockeys will wear goggles. Here at Kempton tonight, they'll probably have 1 pair of goggles. Kickback's not too bad. If during the winter, I'll have 3 pairs of goggles, because if you could imagine you're galloping on heavy ground and the horses in front of you will be kicking the turf back with you, it'll also be raining, so you'll have 3 pairs of goggles on like that. As 1 pair gets clouded over and dirty, you pull them down, and then you pull down the next ones and go from there. Something else I was going to show you, it's not compulsory for jockeys to wear, but it's actually a gum shield, right? So if you open your mouth there, open your mouth, open your mouth, open your mouth. I've just seen what you guys did. So that's my gum shield. It's not compulsory for jockeys to wear a gum shield, but what it will do, you were going to. It's not compulsory for a jockey to wear a gum shield, but I do, and I'm trying to make it compulsory to the Professional Jockeys Association, because when you get a fall, first thing, you'll bang your head, you'll bite down, and that's what causes concussion. And so it's very important to wear a gum shield. It won't protect your teeth because you'll do the top of it or whatever, but it's very important. When he was a kid, he used to get a fall every time. He'd be knocked out 8 times out of 10. And he'd be lying dead for maybe about 10 seconds, 15, 20 seconds, something like that. But since he started wearing a gum shield, he gets up every time, not bothered. The most important bit of equipment though in a jockey's kit bag is their helmet, because unlike your arms, your legs, like I've broken my arm and dislocated my shoulder, it's fine, I've got another one, and hopefully it'll heal. You got 2 of them. As long as you don't have a spinal injury or a head injury, it doesn't matter. A friend of mine called George Baker, who's actually on Racing UK this evening doing the analysis, he was a top class flat jockey, and he ended up going over to San Moritz, where they race in the snow in Switzerland. He went over there and he was riding in a race. 2 horses fell in front of him, he was directly in behind them, nowhere to go. And he literally went straight over, head first into the ground, and he was obviously knocked out. He was airlifted to the hospital, and his family were flown over from England because it wasn't looking great for him. They were going to nearly reach the last rites. If he didn't have a helmet on, he would surely have died. They flew him back to England, and he's ended up making a great recovery. He had to learn to drive, learn to walk again, learn to talk. Like, we can joke about it now, but when he was in hospital, he was like this, drooling out of the side of his mouth. But we literally take the piss out of him now. I'll never forget that he's made some recovery, learned to walk, talk again. He actually got his driving license back a year and a half after the accident, about 4 months ago. So it's given him a new lease of life, and he's got a great job as an agent, jockey's agent to William Buick, who you met earlier on, and James Doyle, and he's going to make an absolute killing of that, and he's going to be class at it. But if he didn't have a riding helmet on, he would definitely be dead now. But I'll tell you a good one. When we met him, I went down to London about 6 times when they flew him back over here. And I remember the first day I went to see him in the hospital, he actually had gone out for a cigarette. It was the first time he had done it in about 6 weeks. It was the first time I had seen him. And he has given up smoking, by the way, now. And but I remember I went up to the room, he wasn't there, came back down the elevator trying to find him. And the doors of the elevator opened, I seen him, I swear to God, my eyes just filled up, and so did his, like, but he offered me the hand, and it was actually quite emotional. And delighted he's made a great recovery, especially because I struggled to pay my mortgage while he was off, because I used to always take the money off him playing golf. So I'm delighted to say that he's now back playing golf, and my mortgage, I'm back in arrears with that now. But injuries are a common thing for jockeys. We get paid £167 a ride over jumps, of which you're deducted your valet fees, they're the guys that look after you in the weigh room, your agent fees, getting to the races. So you could go to, I went to Luxembourg for 1 ride last year, so it actually cost me money going racing, and also you get tax out of it, so you come out with very little considering you have 2 ambulances following you around at all times. It's £142 a ride on the flat. Injuries are a common thing in our game. I've broken 7 collarbones, I've broken my right arm, dislocated my elbow. I was only off racing for 2.5 weeks with that. Any operation you have nowadays, you're off for a minimum of 6 weeks, but that was back in the day. So basically they put a plate in there, I wrapped a bandage around it and just carried on riding. Because you want to be out riding, because if you're not riding, someone else is riding your horses. What else have I done? I got squashed here at the third last fence at Kempton one day on a horse for Robert Arner, and the horse fell and literally squashed me, and he was right top of me. Broke 13 ribs. How long do you think I was off for with that? 4 days. I rode 2 winners the next day at Kempton. Not Kempton, sorry, at Huntington. I rode a winner on the Monday. I had no joy on the Tuesday, a winner on the Wednesday, and I wasn't racing on the Thursday, so after riding out in the morning I went to the hospital, had an x-ray, and I broke 13 ribs, good and proper. But you just, as a jockey, you've got to have that mentality to keep going. What else I've broken? Say 7 collarbones. I keep dislocating this left shoulder. I've broken my right. Oh yeah, I broke my back a couple of times. The worst injury I've ever had was I had a fall one day in a race at Plumpton, and it was an 18 runner novice handicap chase. We'd done 2 circuits, and the fence at the top of the hill with the circuit to go. Literally, my horse out in front, he ended up falling, so curled into a ball. All 16 runners passed over me, not one of them touched me. I thought to myself, thank the fella above there now, that one of them kicked me. As I went to get up, I left my leg out, but a horse had fallen earlier in the race, came maybe 400 yards after the last one, came by me, kicked me flush in the leg. I had a compound fracture of my fib and tib where the bone actually came out through the skin. If you want to actually see that, you can see there. You can see there, but come here and come here, young lady. Come here. I'll be nice to you, but I just have to relax my leg. Hang on there a second. Right, just feel. Put your finger right there now. Do you feel that?
Yeah.
You feel how? Yeah. So I thought you might have more of a reaction than that. That was actually the worst thing. So when I did that, I was off for 11 months, but I thought I'd only be off for 3 months, because when you get a fall, whatever number the doctor tells you, divide that in 2 as a jump jockey. Not like Kieran Schumer, as we said earlier on. But so I decided I'd raise money for the Jockeys Fund. I grew my hair and my beard for what I was going to think the length of time I was off, but after 3 months it wasn't healing. So I was going around all the race courses, doing a bucket collection for the Jockeys Fund. After 6 months I got Tony McCoy, who was 20-time champion jockey at the time, to shave off my hair because I was looking like a hillbilly. I was a single man at the time, nothing better to do than chasing women, but I was having no look at them. So I decided it was time to get off, so I ended up raising 16.5 grand. Tony McCoy came to shave it off. We also had the Stig there from Top Gear, or someone that was dressed up that looked like him, and we ended up having a serious night. But listen guys, I hope you had a great night. I'll be here till after the next race. Do you have any questions?
No, that's good. Thank you very much.
No?